London, seen as the financial centre for international business and the fifth largest metropolitan economy in the world, boasting more than 841,000 private businesses and generating more than £309 billion annually. It is estimated that more than 8,615 million people have made their home in London, and in the last 10 years the population has grown 12% annually. The Shard, one of London's engineering and architectural edifices, shoots to the sky, reflecting the high costs of housing in the city. The building towers high above the means of the working class, who are sometimes forced to the street as their only alternative for survival.
My name's Philip Taylor.
My name is David. I'll start from how it actually happens. I came back from Portugal last year, February last year, and I came back, all I came back with was a guitar on my back, nothing else. I'd split up from my partner after 25 years.
Broke up with my ex. I live with her stepdad. So because I broke up with her, I ended up on the street basically, and I got made redundant about a month beforehand. So I was in a situation with no money and no home basically.
I came back with the hope that I'd be rehoused, and I approached the council, and because I'd been out of the country, I wasn't priority. They said I have no family in the area. I'm from Chelsea originally. Because I have no family here anymore, they said I wasn't priority and they weren't going to house me in London. And I wanted to stay in London. I'm from London. I love London. And emotionally at that time, I needed to be where I knew I needed to stay in my home. And it landed up, I was sleeping on the streets. And it was horrible. I couldn't believe it. I was in my own London, in my own hometown, sleeping on the streets in the cold, like a tramp. And it was just very hard indeed. I was sleeping in bin sheds.
From my experience on the street, I've slept on the pavement. I've slept in all silly places, bin sheds and all sorts of things.
I just slept everywhere, all over the place in London, and it's soul destroying, to tell you the truth, for me personally. And I started drinking just to survive, not survive, but do you know what I mean? It's just, you turn to things, and I was drinking a lot.
Me, myself, I don't get involved in that. I stopped drinking 2000, and I give up pretty much everything around the same sort of time anyway. I used to use recreational drugs, and that was about it.
I've stopped drinking now, thank God, because it doesn't help at all. But it's mentally, it put me in such in a state that I literally felt like I was a tramp in my own city.
Sometimes, yes, I do feel like what's the word I'm looking for? Very like not so much downtrodden, but it's very degrading. Yeah, to have to sit here and ask for people's handouts and even ask for church handouts and things like that, it is degrading. You know what I mean? From me, a man's point of view, I want to be more productive.
And I realised a hell of a lot how people actually look at you. You learn a lot when you're on the street. You learn a lot about yourself, and you learn a lot about people, how distant some people can be, how nasty they can be.
Because people are more blinded to seeing what's around them every day. Every day when they're walking up and down the road, they don't see the situation that people are in. So it's crazy.
Some people were so beautiful to me and so understanding that it was quite touching, really.
Make a meal for them. We provide welcome and friendship. We try and give them a sense of dignity, and we serve them through the evening, and then they will sleep overnight in the church hall.
To survive on the street, you've got churches that will you've got clothes. They give you clothes and food and like sleeping bags, blankets, general stuff you need to survive, basically. That's really the basis you can get by from that, really.
Yeah, I seeked help through, there's a church around the corner called St Cuthbert's, which is a day centre, and when I was sleeping on the streets, you don't sleep at all. And this day centre, the doors open at 10 o'clock, and I used to go to the day centre and they would feed me. Although you have to pay, they'd look at me and say, "Oh, David, you're exhausted. My God," and they'd help me, and I would sleep there during the day and get warm.
The West London Night Shelter, that's run by Glassdoor, is meant to be a faith-based organisation. So churches partner together. So we're part of a circuit of 7 churches that each, on one night of the week, host the shelter, and then it moves round from those different venues. And it's run by churches, their congregations, and so there's a very strong faith element. And of course, whenever people come in, sometimes there'll be a prayer at the beginning of the evening. We might say grace before the meal, and quite often people will know that I'm a vicar. I will often introduce myself and say, if I'm helping at the night shelter that evening, I'll explain I'm the priest of the church, and quite often the conversations will turn to faith and God, or where is God in the midst of my troubles and suffering. But it's very clearly, we don't want it to be a place where people feel that faith is being shoved down their throat. And so although there's a faith base and a faith foundation, we really try and make sure that people know that they're welcomed, whatever their faith background or none, and also that we will treat everyone equally, and that if people don't want to talk about faith, we don't talk about faith. We'd probably talk about football more than faith, and just want to make people feel welcomed and loved. We hope that by doing it, people will experience something of God's love, and they will feel that they're treated with dignity. We very much believe that every single person is created in God's image and needs to be treated as precious and special. But we don't try and force that message on people. We hope that our actions and our the way we welcome people will speak as much of God's love as the words we say.
I survived by busking, playing my guitar on the street. I sing and I play guitar, and I survived by that. Just every day playing my guitar. And that's all I arrived back from Portugal with, was a guitar on my back. And I've still got it. And I still play in the street every day, and I love it, and it's inspired me. The situation has inspired me. It's made me stronger.
To survive on the street, just through people's kindness, really. People's kindness. I've never been sick myself, but lucky enough, touch wood, I haven't, no.
They come in for various different reasons. Some are ill, some just want to come out in the cold for a little while.
I have my own personal problems. I've only got one functioning kidney, and I suffer from a bad back because of it. It's a non-functional kidney in my body, and it's got to come out. and I've had problems with that, and sleeping on the cold floor wasn't helping that at all.
So when they come in, sometimes they do have a little sleep in the waiting room. If there's no one else there, they sit in one of the chairs and just have 5 minutes to themselves.
I went to the hospital with some chest pains, and they were aware that I had nowhere to go, that I was living on the street, and they gave me 2 hours of their time. Basically, you get 2 hours to be assessed, and if they consider you fit enough, they just said, okay, we've done your ECG. I had an irregular heartbeat, which freaked me out a bit, and they just said, okay, you've got an irregular heartbeat, nothing wrong, your chest pains, anxiety, and that's it. And I came back out on the street. This was last year. It was freezing, and I slept in the toilet in the hospital, and then got found by security and kicked out, which was a little bit embarrassing. And it was all so emotional for me because it was the hospital I was born in.
Basically, we get a lot of homeless people coming into the hospital. A lot of them get drunk, a lot of them are on drugs. We try to deal with them in the best possible way. A lot of them don't book in. They try to sleep in the hospital, but really they have to book in the hospital. If they don't book in the hospital, we have to sort of ask them to leave, and we have to escort them from the premises.
As for seeing violence and that on the street, most people generally aren't like that. You know what I mean? You get you get that minority that are I don't know the best way of putting it, but they're almost blinded to the way that they can't see why you're on the street, sort of thing, and so I don't know. It's an arrogant way of looking at things. You know what I mean? So that's the way they look at you. That's what I've seen. But otherwise, generally, most people are pretty cool people.
I've heard of people being set on fire. I've met people that have been sleeping in their sleeping bag. Thankfully, it's never happened to me. I wouldn't let it happen to me, but no one has ever approached me, thankfully. But I've met guys that have been in their sleeping bag asleep, and people have just started kicking them and beating them up, hit them with a bottle, and they try to set one guy on fire. Yeah, there's some pretty nasty people out there that pick on homeless people. I've met homeless people that have been on the street for 10 years. It's strange, they get used to it. People get used to it. And they prefer living on the street. Thankfully, I never reached that level. I never reached that. I just experienced 10 months of it. I experienced 10 months of what to me was hell. It was either going to break me or make me. Do you understand?
SMART is a mental health charity that supports people to improve their mental health and to rehabilitate them and get them back into society, basically. We do that in a number of ways. We believe mental health can be improved through purposeful activity, and we've got a range of projects that help people do that. In terms of homeless people, as well as other people with mental health issues, we generally get referrals from the NHS, and there are also some drop-in services as well that people can just attend.
I want to get off the street into like a hostel or any accommodation, basically, so I can get back into work. That's all I want, to be productive. You know, it's no life to live on the street. You know what I mean? It's limbo. It's almost like you're in limbo. You know? So, but yeah, it's just to get back into work and become a productive person in society again, really.
So we've got a cafe that's open to the public 7 days a week, and we offer volunteering opportunities for people, and that's about creating some structure to their day, allows them to build their self-confidence as well as learning new skills, and that just allows them to get back into society. We also have other projects like gardening, floristry, music, and we also have a big project which is about helping people connect with the outside world, called bridge building.
Emotionally, it just affects you, and there was times when I just thought, oh, you just want to give up. You want to give up. You don't think suicide, that you just want to give up. You don't want to do anything. You're just angry with everything, and you get a little bit of self-pity, which is not good. But it can break you like that, or it can make you. It can make you stronger, and you say to yourself, I'm going to change this situation. This is not me. Do you know what I mean? This is not me. I have 2 legs and 2 arms, and I can stand up and get on with my life.
We very much don't work in isolation. We form partnerships with a range of organisations to support people who are homeless and others as well, so that they build their self-confidence, build new friendships, learn new skills, and when they're ready, we can link them in with other services as well. We're about to launch a brand new service, an employment service with jobs in mind. So for those people that are ready, we can talk about how they can get back into employment or volunteering opportunities in mainstream organisations.
When winter kicked in, I was still on the streets over December and Christmas, and that was horrible. But I approached the council again and basically stated my situation and just told them how of an emotional screw-up this has made me, and that I really do need help. And they placed me in a hotel in the end, in Kilburn, and tomorrow I'm moving into a hostel on Finborough Road. I split up from my partner after 25 years, which affected me, and left my 2 children in Portugal, which has affected me deeply. But I've got to just get up and be strong and carry on and keep singing my songs, which music has saved me. Music has really saved me. This past year, if it wasn't for this guitar, I don't know what I would have done, to tell you the truth. I'll sing you a nice little song that I've written, and it's all inspired from my family, missing my family. And I'll sing it for you, okay? Yeah? Oh, my love, my love, my love. My love, my love. Oh, my love, my love, my love. Said, where are you now? Oh, my child, my child, my child. Oh, my child, my child. Oh, my child, my little child. Said, where are you now? You're far away, my girl. Yeah, yeah. And maybe I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Said I thought I saw you today. Oh, but my love, my love, my love. son, my son, my son. Oh, my son, my son. Oh, my son, my little son. Said, where are you now? Oh, my love, my love, my love. Oh, my love, my love. Oh, my love, my love, my love. Said, where are you now? You're far away, my girl. Yeah, yeah. And maybe I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Said I thought I saw you today. Oh, but my love, my love, my love, you're so far away. Said my love, my love, my love, you're far away. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Said, where are you now? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Said, where are you now? You're far away, my girl. Yeah, yeah. And maybe I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Said I thought I saw you today. Oh, but my love, my love, my love, you're so far away. Said my love, my love, my love, you're far away. Thank you. This is my place of work, mate.